Leeds United fans, the time has come. Marcelo Bielsa has returned to Leeds. This is his 4-1-4-1 tactic that he predominantly used during the Championship season. Was it 16-year wait without Premier League football? So in today's video, we're going to do a 5-season save with Leeds United, only using this tactic. So we're going to really focus on the player roles, the player positions. And I think the main thing that was the downfall of Bielsa was the size of the squad and the lack of quality in the squad once a couple of players got injured or were just generally exhausted. So I think what we need to try and do where we can is have two players like for like in every single position and see how far we can get using this Bielsa ball tactic that I have put together in Football Manager. All right, we're going to get into it right now. Smash a like on today's video, it'll be absolute tremendous. Even though I'm a Man United fan, I'm a massive Marcelo Bielsa fan. So it's a little bit of love and hate between Bielsa and Leeds United at the moment. But we're going to see how well we do across the 5 seasons. For you Patreons, the tactic is now available for you as well. Link down in the description if you want to support the channel and get regular tactic uploads. Also, this save file at the end of the 5 seasons will also be available for you Patreons. So you guys can carry on the save when I've finished after the 5 seasons. Okay, so we're looking at a 4-1-4-1. Generally, we had Calvin Phillips. I've kind of put him as a register. Like, there's so many little tweaks and changes that you can make to a Bielsa tactic. You know, at times you would go down the route as a sort of like a 3-1-3-3 and change it up depending on the opponent. So I've kind of had to generalize it a little bit. But basically, we've got obviously high intensity in the middle with a little bit of a play. Remember, was it Pablo Hernandez? The old Spanish player who was in his latter years. He was playing in a central role. They had pace out wide and directness with sort of like Harrison and Costa, a fully fit Patrick Bamford up front playing that complete forward. Obviously Calvin Phillips, you know, in his prime in those Championship in that first Premier League season. And then at the back, depending on, you know, we had Dallas played a lot and then Firpo came into it, I think, during the Premier League era. Luke Ayling at right back. And then two kind of ball-playing defenders. Well, naturally, sometimes the left wing-back would go in. Sometimes Ayling would go in. Sometimes they would stay wide. So there's loads of different things that you could change. But for today's video, we're just going to try and fit in the current crop of players into this tactic. And then we'll try and recruit players based on this. Obviously, extremely attacking. We're trying to move the ball quickly, dominate possession, but definitely getting it into that final third. We're going to have that box-to-box streaming forward. Would that have been click? I think Hernandez kind of rotating around with the register. Now, this could have been a halfback because Calvin Phillips often dropped in, but we've just gone with that register as the ultimate sort of like number 6 is what he was at Leeds United. Season 1, we're in the Championship. We're in 1st of September. As you can see, we've started the season extremely well. 5 played, 4 wins, 1 draw, no defeat, 15 goals scored, and only 5 conceded. So a very positive start. Now, I am using the Sorted Out SI database. I have done a little video on that, which is an up-to-date database. It's updated every day. Now, I took on this save the day after Rutter went to Brighton. So we've got no Rutter. We've got none of the other signings. I think, is it Ramazani, the former Manchester United youngster? We haven't got him. So we've had to do a couple of little deals in the summer because I was really adamant on getting that strong squad. So 2 players in every single position. And we've brought in a few loans, a few good loans, I think. We've also, first of all, we've said goodbye to Rilford Nonto. I don't think of the Bielsa. He's had that attitude of potentially wanting to go. He's worth an absolute fortune, even though I've only managed to get 12 million. But I just wanted the 12 million in, so then we could redistribute it into the squad with hopefully some loanees and signings. I would like to see where he is at the end of the series and end of the 5 seasons because I don't think he is anywhere near that price limit. Okay, right. Let's go in to see what we've done. So we've got some of the other signings that are in. Obviously, they've signed Joe Rodon on a permanent, Bogle on a permanent, Rothwell on a permanent, and I have made a whole host of transfers here. All right, number 1, Samuel Edozie. So to give us that little bit of flexibility in wide areas, you know, that Championship season can be long and grueling in particular as well if you do pretty well in the Cups. I thought it was important to bring at least one wide player in Samuel Edozie. Number 2, Hannibal kind of can play all 3 roles. He's not bad as a sitting midfielder. He's obviously just signed for Burnley in real life. Box-to-box midfielder. And also, maybe, Mazzala he could do. Just gives us that little bit of flexibility once again in the middle. However, I am actually a big fan in real life of Joe Rothwell. I think that's a fantastic signing for Leeds. I think his contract's out at the end of the season as well. So potentially something that we may do permanently in the summer. To give us more options out wide, we've signed Facundo Pellistri. I'm sorry this is Manchester United based, a couple of these signings. It wasn't intentional, I promise. We were just trying to find players that we could get on relatively low wages and not costing a lot in terms of loan fees. I thought that was important because I do think that we're going to be quite good this season, and hopefully we can get out into the Premier League at the first attempt, and I want to save as many pennies as possible. So Facundo Pellistri is in to give us another option out wide. Neil Maupay, we needed a backup striker. Now I was anticipating Joe Pirot to leave. Ajax came in with a bid. I rejected the first bid. I thought they would come back for another, and they didn't end up coming back, which was a shame because the first bid was about 14 million. I thought if we can get it over 15, we'll take it, and they never came back. So I thought we need to get someone else in case he goes like really late in the window. And we've brought in Neil Maupay, who is only with us for a season. I have just told him just to ease up on the social media just for this season, concentrate on getting us back into the Premier League. Andre Ayew as well, once again, wide player, forward player, somebody who will give us a little bit of experience. I've kind of done that on the basis. He came in quite late, and that was because we've lost Facundo Pellistri, torn thigh muscle, out for probably a couple of months, 3 to 7 weeks. So I just thought he's on a relatively low wages as well, 3,300, absolutely nothing. Can you do as a job just for the next few months? And the last one is Romain Favre is in on loan from Bournemouth, can once again do multiple positions, can do the Mazzala role as well. So I think, even though we've not signed any defenders, we're really stacked in midfield, in wide areas. Obviously, we've got Ampadu, who can do the holding role. There's also Gruev, Brendan Harrison we've got as well. So we've got loads of options in that really intense midfield. Now, it is intense because, remember, Bielsa wants to do that really aggressive press. So what we've got in here is a set of instructions. So for you guys who are getting the tactics as a download, I've literally done tight marking on all the outfield players because we want that really aggressive man-to-man press, and then a trigger press because we're going, and tackling as, look, we're going hard. So it is very physical, very intense. So I really wanted to make sure that we were covered in these areas here in particular. I think we're all right in defence. There's Wobber, Cooper, Roden, Stroik, with someone called Montero, there's Byram, Ampadu can do a job there, Junior Firpo. So I think we've got enough options in defence to cover us this season. All right, we're going to speed on to the end of the season. So we've made a fantastic start. 5-2 against Sheffield Wednesday. We're through in the Carabao as well. 3-1 Norwich, which I thought was a really good early test to see how good we were. 4-1 Bristol City. 2-0 Plymouth. 4-0 against Carlisle in the Carabao. And we've done a nice little bit of rotation as well. I think during this save in particular, while we're in the Championship, I'm not going to really pay too much attention to the cups. Let's get into the Premier League, see if we can hopefully win a trophy by the end of season 5. Our opening goal, my first competitive goal as Leeds United manager, was this one here. So a really intense press look. When it came into the middle of the park, Bamford working, we're going to get the ball back and then we're going to attack very quickly with a nice little third man run. Jan James ends up being the goal scorer coming in from this left-hand side. So we're going to win it in here. Pass. Little give and go here. Ampadu, what a pass that is, a register. And Dan James is in. And that was the first goal of 5 to give us a really nice start in the league. And here we are end of season 1. And look at that. We are champions. Sheffield United deducted 2 points. So they would have been on 92. So they've had a decent season themselves. But 30 wins, 13 draws, 3 defeats, a goal difference of 61 with 103 points. 97 goals scored and less than 1 goal conceded a game, which is good considering the sort of like the Bielsa high pressing, high energy, lots of midfielders vacating that middle area and leaving that register a little bit isolated. And it's worked extremely well. During the season as well, we did add Archie Gray. Unfortunately, he only played in the FA Cup because I forgot to register him. I missed him out of the registration for the squad. He was all right about it. He didn't actually mind. I think he was just happy to be back in Yorkshire. But a little bit of an error. I thought I only kind of got him just to help out because we were getting a little bit tired in around that January time. So we brought Archie Gray in. But unfortunately, he never actually featured in the Championship. And that was the only signing we did. So what a season to start. Now, the other competitions were not as great. Third round against Wolves, which was a little bit unlucky. And then Fulham in the FA Cup. But we absolutely loved, as you can see, playing Sheffield Wednesday. 5-0 against teams like Burnley, Coventry. 4-1 against QPR. 4-1 against Bristol City. Good wins against Middlesbrough. Our only defeats, Bristol, where is the other ones? Derby County away, Preston at home, which was probably the most disappointed right before Christmas. But as you can see, a tremendous season for Leeds United, and we are back in the Premier League. Notable performances, not in much in terms of goals. We actually struggled. I think that's one area that we're definitely going to have to strengthen in the summer. We did mostly go with Maupay, 27, 8 as sub, 15 goals. Romeo Fadra, who played out on the right wing for a lot of it, 12 goals, 12 assists, so 24 goal contributions. Adozi came in at spells, kind of an impact player, look, with 11 goals in those, 19 starts, but 29 as sub. Dan James had a tremendous season, well, not a tremendous season, a decent season, 11 and 8. Maybe Joe Rothwell was up there, 11 goals and 10, bearing in mind that he was sort of like the box-to-box midfielder. Patrick Bamford did pretty well when he did actually play. Did he have any injuries this season? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not many, because one was a cold, and one was a tight hamstring, and one was food poisoning. So he hadn't done too bad, but we just went with Maupay for the majority of the season. All right, we're back in the Premier League. We've got a nice budget as well of nearly £42 million. £310,000 in the wages, which is lovely. A little bit of money to spend. I think there's an option of selling the players on. There's a lot of players that are wanted in here. Wobber's wanted, Rodon's wanted, Ampadu's wanted. So there's potential options of selling if we need to. Remember, I want 2 players in every single position. All right, let's move on to season 2, our first season in the back in the Premier League. Let's go and see what transfer business can be done around this Bielsa ball 4-1-4-1. So first of all, Andrew Ayew, Liam Cooper, Junior Firpo, Amari Miller, anyone else down there, Sam Byram as well, all released at the end of their contracts. The big sale was Ampadu. He's gone for a total of 58 million. Potential earnings of up to 67. I didn't want to actually let him go. He did moan about an earlier deal that I rejected. So then when the offer got this good, I felt like I had to accept it because this no doubt will help us rebuild. Like, he's good. Is he register good? Probably not. He's not a Calvin Phillips, I wouldn't say. So I think that's a decent bit of business, even though I am sad to see a player like him leave. The big one was Ramos Christensen. I didn't want to kind of have these players back that Leeds have kind of bought during the, what would it have been? What's that American dude? Oh, the name's gone. Jesse Marsh. There we go. That era. I thought we kind of need to stay away from those players a little bit. Bournemouth came in for Rasmus Christensen, 24 million. So this is really helping our bank balance. Joel Perreault has also gone. Managed to get him out of the door. He had an unhappy time because we were expecting him to leave and then we fell out and he didn't feature for us. So to get 16 mil, I think is a decent deal. I think that rises as well. Yeah, rises to 19.5. And then for us, on the ins, someone who can do either that register role or the Mazzala role potentially is Yassine Adli. £5.5 million from AC Milan. Look at the sort of like the attributes in those technicals and mentals. Superb. Nice little bit of work for it as well, because that is definitely going to be key in this Bielsa ball tactic. We then brought in our new number 9. Now, he's not great in real life, but I just thought, I'm trying to think of like the Uruguay kind of Bielsa tactic as well, where he's got Darwin Núñez up front. Obviously, he had a really good Patrick Bamford up front during the championship season. So I wanted to kind of recreate that pace and power and kind of scruffiness at times and rawness. And I thought he fits it. He's absolutely superb in Football Manager. He was actually transfer listed as well. And we got £19 million for Beto, who only scored 2 in 20 for Everton. I decided to make the Romain Fadra deal permanent. We were kind of struggling for that next level. He had a really good season for us. And I thought, look, that's probably something that you would do. He's had a good season for us in the Championship. £14 million can hold his own on that right side. Our new number 6, now this was only brought in because of the sale of Ampadu. It is Federico Redondo. I'm not familiar with him. I wonder if he's actually the son of Redondo. Could be the next Fernando Redondo. I'm going to probably say, oh no, he's a relation of Solari by the looks of it. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if he is actually related to Redondo. Anyway, Redondo, we've got him at a decent deal, 13.5 million from Inter Miami. Decent physicals, 6'2", so that's always good, but work rate good. Long shots, decent passer. Wants to be more of a central midfielder, but I was trying to get him to sit as that register for us this season. Big one. Pedro Neto, transfer listed. We got him for 12.5 million. Hasn't had a great season at Chelsea. I think for you guys that are using this database, this will be a regular one because he doesn't seem to play much for Chelsea with this updated database, so something that you can definitely get your hands on. I thought gives us that quality out wide. We did sign a lot of loanees. Remember, we had Palestri, we had Ayew was obviously gone. We had a Dozy that we've not made permanent, so we needed to strengthen in these wide areas. I was maybe questioning the quality of perhaps Dan James as well. Happy for Dan James to stay as a little bit of a backup and impact player, but I thought Pedro Neto was a really good signing to have. Max Aarons is in. Decent bit of business, really. 6.25 from Bournemouth. Need to strengthen in that right back area as well. We had Christensen coming in, but we wanted to create our own brand. Obviously, we've had Byram go as well, so we needed to get another right back in. And then this one, Jean-Richard Bellegarde, can do a couple of positions. I just liked a couple of his attributes. He can dribble, he can pass, decent technique, good physicals, and we've brought him in from Wolves for £4.5 million. New centre back in as well to give us a little bit of strength and depth there because Liam Cooper's gone. It's Andrew Omabandelli, really good in real life. Not really featured much for Nottingham Forest, so we got him at a cut price of £7.5 million. I think that is a really good deal. Probably won't play much this season. However, next season in particular, maybe the season that he breaks through. And then the last one is a random one. Riccardo Calafiore. I absolutely love him in real life. We managed to get him on loan from Arsenal. I think mainly because he hasn't featured a great deal for them. So a nice little loan for us. I'm aiming at him being more of a left full back. So what we've actually done is change the two wing backs over. So this was a wing back last year. We've now changed that to be just a full back on support, a little bit more defensive. And then having Aarons and Bogle being more aggressive on this right side. So we've kind of covered in all the areas now. Meslier, obviously, we're comfortable. Aarons, we've got in there, and Bogle. We've got Wobber as a little bit of a backup to Calafiore. Struijk, Bandele, Wobber, Rodon. We've got plenty of options. Holding midfield. Adley, Redondo, Gruev still there. Struijk can do a job. Out wide, we've got Harrison back as well. We've also obviously signed Neto. Romain Favre can go out there as well. So we're stacked in there. Aronson can do anything across the midfield. Mazzala, Bellegarde, Redondo, Gruev. We've got loads of options in here. Maybe not a set 11, but I think when we need to take players out for lack of form or injury, we're going to have plenty of options. And once again, Redondo, Adley, Gruev, Bellegarde, Aronson can all do a job in the middle of midfield. With Beto, Bamford suddenly now cannot do complete forward, but he is just going to be our backup during the season. That is it. Less games as well, so we hopefully can just keep playing better and better and better. We've spent about 85. We've actually made a nice little bit of money, so our bank balance isn't looking too bad. We are way over on our wages. I realised our wage budget was actually quite low. Despite having that 300 and whatever £1,000 it was a week, we're down at third bottom. There's only Bristol City and Sheffield United, the 3 promoted clubs. So we're going to have to build on that over the season because that has restricted us a little bit. Now, the start of the season has been a little bit up and down. We've started with a 2-0 defeat against Wolves and I panicked. I'm going to be honest, I thought we're in here. Wolves, nice start to the season, 1.53 XG compared to their 0.81. So a little bit worried that we're not going to score enough goals. We all scored 97 last year, which I thought was pretty good. But this time round, Premier League, I'm a little bit worried that we're not going to score enough goals. Leicester City, though, 3-1. Beto, Favre, Redondo, giving us a well-deserved 3-1 victory. Look at that, 64% possession. With a 1-0 win, Bellegarde scoring. That was a bit of an end-to-end one, but we still looked loads of chances created. We're not maybe taking as many chances as we would like. Disappointing defeat at Brentford, but then we backed it up then with a 0-0 draw against Arsenal. Now, the board want us to... What do they want us to do? Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, Thomas Stockwell is our youth intake. He's got terrible hair like me, but hopefully by the end of the 5 seasons, Thomas Stockwell will be a major part of our squad. Already regarded at between 28 and 50 million, 5-star, fairly determined, promising winger. Yeah, he's going to be a nice little addition, hopefully in the latter stages of this save. But there you go. The board want... What did the board want? What do you want? Attempt to avoid, even just attempt. Make an attempt. I don't sometimes question how hard that is. How hard do we need to attempt? I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll probably be bottom half. But anyway, let's go and see how we've done. First season in the Premier League, season 2 of Bielsa ball. There you go. First season in the Premier League, 9th. Now, you would say that is a fantastic season. 9th in the Premier League, just one place below Manchester United. We saw a decent season, 55 goals, less than a goal a game conceded. So I'm actually The tactics doing the opposite that I thought. I thought we would be scoring way more goals but conceding more, and it's not quite turning out to be the case. 60 points, but look at our form. End of the season, we absolutely fell apart. 4 defeats on the trot, 5 defeats in 6. We've had an absolute nightmare. We were up in 5th with 4 games, 5 games to go. Absolutely devastated. 5th place as well would have been enough for Champions League football. So we were that close to Champions League, and I thought, okay, let's just hang on for Europe. And then we didn't hang on for Europe anyway. And the main reason for that was the injury to Beto. He tore his hamstring against Sheffield United, which was already disappointing. We had a decent result, I suppose, at Newcastle. Really good win at Brighton. We thought we were going to be fine. Patrick Bamford came on, replacing Beto, scored a goal. 75k a week, by the way, Patrick Bamford. And then we just had a nightmare after. To be fair, last 2 games, Liverpool at home and Tottenham away. So that was always going to be a tricky one, bearing in mind that Tottenham are right up there, second in the division. By the way, if you want to know, first season, Manchester City were the champions. So that has given us £81 million to spend, only 106 in the budget. Obviously, the wage budget will keep going up the more and more money we have in. A little bit of work to be done. There will be, I imagine, some players leaving. Bamford, Dan James, I'm still undecided on. Sam Greenwood will go. Darlow. Cairns, I'm going to try and keep because he's registered like... Did he start his career at Leeds? Yeah, that's why he's there, isn't he? So he's going to be hopefully our third choice keeper for another couple of seasons. Meslier is leaving. He has no interest in signing a new deal, which is really disappointing. So he's going to go. So we need a new number 1. And Ian Maatsen, we did do a little bit of business in the January. Ian Maatsen came in just on loan, but we won't be renewing his loan deal. After that, season 1, 9th in the Premier League. We've done pretty well. I think it needs to be European football. Standout performances. Beto, 15-33 is okay, I suppose. Romain Fadra has done all right. 11 assists, 11 goals. 8 assists, 11 goals. Neto's been okay, 5 and 8. And then it's, 4 and 3, 4 and 4. Redondo's 4 and 3. We need a little bit more going forward. We've obviously built a really strong defence. Appearance-wise, Meslier historic. Bellegarde has done okay. Omar Bandele has done all right as well. So that's a nice little partnership they've formed, but we need something more in those attacking areas. Our first season in the Premier League as well, there was some nice noticeable results. So 2 0-0 draws against Arsenal, but 2 draws against Chelsea. The big ones down here, look. Manchester City, we lost 1. Lost both to Liverpool. We beat Manchester City 4-0 at home. Favre 2, Beto and Redondo. Was it deserved? Yes, it was. 2.13. Didn't dominate possession, but 17 shots on goal. Absolutely tremendous. And the big one for you Leeds United fans, how well did we do against Manchester United? The answer is we beat them 3-1 at Ellen Road, 2 and 93rd and 96th. Imagine the scenes when those goals were going in. And we went one better. We went to Old Trafford, 2nd minute, very much in the... Was it an early goal? How many minutes was on the clock when Beckford scored? I can't remember, but we've scored an early goal, 1-0 at Old Trafford. Deserved as well, look, 15 shots. Didn't have the ball, but... in terms of 1.58 XG to their 0.7. United are struggling. They've obviously signed loads of random players in there as well. Balogun's there, Asani, Diassi, this guy, don't even know who that is. They're having a bit of a tough time at Manchester United. Thomas Frank is now in charge, but they've also had Thomas Tuchel. Eric Ten Hag only lasted till November in the season 1. Thomas Tuchel didn't even last from Christmas to the end of March, and now Thomas Frank is in at the end of season, the end of season 2. They've found it difficult. Let's go and see now what we do for season 3. So players released, Diogo Montero, who was actually a subject of a couple of bids in the first season, but I didn't want him to go because we had no backup, and in the end he's not kicked on at all, just because we haven't played him. Patrick Bamford has gone, I was never going to renew that deal. He's gone from 75 grand a week with me to just under 6 grand with Huddersfield. What league are they in? They are back in the Championship. Hasn't scored in 6 games for them, so that was probably a good deal to finally let him go. Obviously, we knew about Meslier going. He's decided to go to Al Hilali Shabab Only 52 grand a week, which is disappointing because we would have probably offered him more than that to stay. Greenwood's gone. We got 18 million for Wobber, who was nice, not really nice mentals, but I think as a Leeds United fan, you would probably say that you don't want him back, I would imagine. So I thought getting 18 million in so we could then reuse that somewhere else, I thought was decent business. Gruever's gone to Middlesbrough. Nice bit of change here, 13.5, rising to 15. Has been no more than a backup for us for those first 2 seasons. And those were the transfers out. Across to the ins, we got 2 goalies in. Freddie Woodman came in really early. He's going to be English. He's obviously started at Newcastle. Got him in as a backup to Philippe Jorgensen. He is Chelsea's new goalkeeper that they've signed this summer from about 25 million. And they, once again, with the issue with Chelsea in the game, they have too many players. And then you can end up getting, I think, bargains like this. We got him for a grand total of £7 million, and he's definitely going to be our number 1 for the season. He's only lacking in communication and eccentricity, which is nothing that needs to be worried about, in particular eccentricity for the goalkeeper position. So they came in for combined 11.5. That has definitely strengthened us in there with Darlow leaving. Cairns now is going to be just our number 3. And then we've done these transfers right here. New starting centre-back, Radu Dragusin, 19.5 from Tottenham. Armando Borja is in. He's just going to be our backup to Beto. We are going to go with Beto, but once again, Chelsea, transfer list, just exploit them as much as possible if you're going to use the database. 16 mil. He's definitely of that ilk of that complete forward as well. Pace, power, work rate decent physicals as well. 6'3". This is a new one. Not used this player before. Never really heard of him. Patrick Dorgu. He's Danish, young as well, only 21 years old. Look how much his value's jumped up. Potential 4.5 star. We've got him for £10 million from Lecce. And then we've gone to Italy again to get Josh Doig in. 9.25. So we're going to have Doig and, what's he called? Dorgu. Backing up as our 2 left backs. Obviously, we've lost Firpo. Matson has now gone as well. So those 2 are going to be, hopefully, probably our most settled left backs for the remaining of the 3 seasons. Gabby Vega in. I thought he could probably do both roles in the middle of midfield for us. We've got him on a free transfer. We had to wait because obviously he had that huge contract in Saudi. And then we just waited to the last stages of the window. We still had to pay £105,000 a week and a big signing on fee. However, I think he'll be absolutely worth it. He's had 2 really good seasons in Saudi. Joining him from Saudi, I absolutely love this boy. He's going to be that entertainer at Ellen Road. Free transfer. Once again, we waited a little bit for him until his wage demands went down. He's at his peak. Definitely, well, probably past his peak, 29, but he's still got good physicals. It just says he is injury prone, but we're going to go with it. I absolutely love him. He will entertain the Ellen Road faithful. And then 2 more free transfers. Ross Barkley, just a little bit of a backup in there. I am a big fan of Ross Barkley. Deep line, can do the register, can play either probably role as well in midfield. So for him covering all 3 positions, fantastic substitute to have. And last one, potentially going to be a start in Mazzala, maybe, with Vega moving over to the left-hand side as the box-to-box. Lamar Samajic. Sorry about that. Free transfer from Udinese. Hasn't done great at Udinese in the first 2 seasons, but I'm just looking at his pure technicals. We want a really technical player. We've kind of lost that with, obviously, Leeds United had that Hernandez, who was obviously at the older stage of his career, but a beautiful technician. So I'm hopefully he's going to take on that role for us going forward. All right, that is the transfers. I think we're well stacked everywhere now. We don't really have to worry so much. I think the thing with Leeds United before was they had just a complete fall off in the lack of quality in the other areas, and now we've got Dragostin, we've still got Struijk, Omar Bandele, Roden, 4 centre halves, Bogle, Aarons, 2 right backs, left backs sorted in Dorju and Doig, Redondo, Barkley, Bellegarde, Adley, Favre, Vega, Samadic, Aronson, wide players, Harrison, James, Neto, St. Maximin, strikers, Borja and Beto. We are well stacked for the season, which has started pretty damn good. Third in the league, 7 games, 5 wins, 1 draw and only 1 defeat. And that was at Norwich City, which was a little bit disappointing. And once again, goals are looking pretty good in terms of not conceding. We've had a decent pre-season. I always like to play a couple of crap teams, so we played Ilkley, who are local to Leeds, and York City. Some of my family's from Ilkley, and obviously York City, because I'm a York City fan. Everton 3-0, Brentford in the league was disappointing. Norwich in the EFL, which was good, kind of rotated squad. Good win against West Ham, better on the score sheet. Then that Norwich 2-1, which was really annoying because I thought we're on here. We're on, and it pulled us back down. They probably edged it, not in terms of chances, but definitely in the XG. Got knocked out of the Carabao, which was a little bit disappointing because I was hoping, look, we can just play our backup players and see how far we get. Maybe try and get through to maybe a quarter or a semi and then maybe start playing the stronger players. But that wasn't to be. But we have then responded really well. A 2-1 win at Brighton, I think, is always good. A 95th minute penalty and then a 3-0 win over Aston Villa. Season 3 is complete and we've actually done it this time. We've finished 5th. And we've managed to get, because of that coefficient, we've managed to get a Champions League space within 3 seasons. 71 points, 21 wins, 8 draws, 9 defeats, 71 goals scored and only 41 conceded. Only a point behind Liverpool, only 4 points behind, 5 points behind Arsenal, 4 clear of Newcastle and well clear of the others. Look where Manchester United finished. If I've got a screenshot, I will put a screenshot of where they were at one point. They were down in the relegation zone. We then went to Old Trafford in April and we lost 2-1. And that was the win that got them out of it. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be so good that we're going to put Manchester United right into a relegation scrap. And they didn't. They managed to beat us 2-1, which was a little bit frustrating. But we managed to get a 2-2 at the Etihad. We were 2-0 up as well until the 82nd minute, 82nd Rodri, and then a 90+2 penalty from Haaland. We've had wins over Arsenal, a win at Ellen Road again against Manchester United, an 89th minute own goal from Axel Diassi, who's manager of Manchester United at the moment. It's Vincenzo Italiano, which is interesting. Thomas Frank got sacked in just before Christmas, and now Vincenzo Italiano is in and steered Manchester United away from safety. However, good thing about this skin is it does show you financial stuff. This is the Vin skin, by the way. Someone will definitely ask in the comments. You can see Man United are really struggling. They're overspending nearly 400 grand a week on wages and 110 million pounds in the red. We've done exceptionally well. Who was our top performers? Pastor Strike, 41 appearances, but as you can see, Beto, 25 goals. He's finally started smashing in the goals for us. Samovic has had 19 goal contributions. Then once again, it's a lot of rotations. We've managed to build a squad here and a lot of players contributing, you know, playing maybe 20, 30 appearances rather than those 40. And we've managed to get Champions League football within 3 seasons. Did we do any business in the January? We did a little bit of business in the January. Someone that I think we're going to try and make permanent. Jarrell Kwanzaa came in as a backup right, so like a centre half, because Omar Bandele was fuming that he wasn't playing. Remember, we bought in Dragusin, so we managed to get 25 million for him. So we made a nice little bit of profit on him. Brought Kwanzaa in to be a little bit of a backup. We also said goodbye to Jack Harrison. He went out on loan to West Ham with a view to a permanent deal. So that was already done. And as you can see as well, Joe Rodon went to Brentford unhappy about game time. His contract was up in a year and a half, said he was going to leave. So we cashed in 19.25, which left us a little bit light in defence. So that's somewhere we're going to definitely need to sort of like do some business. We've only got Dragusin, Struijk and Kwanzaa as our 3 sort of like starting centre halves. So we definitely need to do some business in there in the summer. What money we've been given, 76 million. Not much in terms of wages, but 77 million. We can definitely shuffle a few things round to see what we can do for season 4. And then players potentially leaving. Aronson, I think he's definitely, yeah, he's listed. He hasn't played much for us. Decent little impact off the bench. Nice little contribution with 5 goals. Geldart's going. And Kwanzaa's the other one that we'll try and bring in permanently. Right, moving into season 4, let's go and see what business can be done our first season in the Champions League. So I've brought us back a little bit later. We're halfway through season 4. I just wanted to show you the sort of the progress we've made with the Champions League. We've been knocked out of the Carabao. We've just started pretty well, I think, now that we're playing sort of like Saturday, Wednesday with the Champions League. Bit more intense for us. 7th in the division, decent-ish start. Champions League so far has gone pretty well as well. We're lying in 13th, so an opportunity to qualify for the latter stages. Bearing in mind that our prediction this season is, well, expectation, top half Premier League and just be competitive in the Champions League. So transfers out. The main one was Geldart has gone on a free. He basically never played for us. We said bye to Borja, didn't play, wasn't happy that he wasn't playing. We managed to double our money on him, £31 million. Bogle as well, he was leaving in a year's time on a free, so I thought, let's just transfer list him, see what we can get, and we got 7.75, and it kind of shows you that maybe the level that we're at with Bogle, because he's gone to Norwich, which is obviously a step down from us. And the other noticeable player out, Favre, we've kind of moved on for him a little bit now. He didn't feature so much in the second season, only 15 appearances in the Premier League, so it was definitely time. Only 2 starts as well, 13 of them coming as a substitute. So it was nice just to get him off the wages, free up a bit of money, 8.5 million after a decent couple of spells with us, loan and then permanent signing. And then on the ins, we've spent 81 million pounds. As you can see, Kwanzaa came in on a free. Stengs, our new right midfielder. This is why we let Favre go, because I thought this was definitely an upgrade on this right-hand side. 12 million pounds from AC Milan. I think that is a tremendous pickup. I always call him Bajic. Now, I know he's not Bajic, but that's what I'm calling him because that's what I've had in my head for a number of years. So we've got him in on loan. I only got him in because he can play centre-back, right-back, holding midfield. He's a tremendous player to have in your squad in FM. A new start in centre-half is Nathoin Perez. He's already wanted by Saudi. Man United and Chelsea were interested, but we went with a double what he wanted contract. Bearing in mind that we only paid £19 million for him, I think that is a tremendous upgrade on players like Roden, even Stroik. Harry Clark, now I was conscious that we had a lot of foreigners in the squad and we needed to do something just to bring some more English contingent in. I was looking for more of a rotation option. He can play right back mainly, so he's just going to be a backup to Max Aarons at right back. £15 million from Everton, but it was more based on, look, he's pretty decent, pays 15, can play a little bit, decent tackling, he's more of like a wide centre-back, but I thought it was a nice little pickup. Musa is in. I've looked at him the season before and we left it a year and now we've got him in 9.5 million. I thought this was a tremendous box-to-box midfielder option. We've kind of not had that. Gabby Vega's more of a Mazzala. We had Roffel in season 1, so I thought it was really good to bring someone in who can really do that box-to-box role. Technical's not great, but it's all about the mentals and those physicals. New backup striker. We just needed someone who could do a job backing up to Haaland. Dear me, we haven't got Haaland. To Beto, 17.5. He's actually on loan at real life for Wolves at the moment. Didn't have a good loan spell, but he's a bit of a brute. 6'4", pace 15, can finish a little bit, technique, passing, all okay. Works hard. I thought it would be a nice little backup now that we're in Champions League. And the last one is a bit of a wonder kid. Hugh Gernsner. He is a German that we picked up for 4.5 million. I just brought him in. He's not going to be any useful for us probably in these last 2 seasons. But if you're a patron and you're carrying on the save, he's going to be there ready for you. And our standout youngster, Thomas Stockwell, as you can see, is with us. He's now going to feature in the first team squad. I haven't sent him out alone. I've just let him come through the youth system a little bit. Hasn't had amazing seasons. This one was a little bit better, where he's had 35 starts, 23 a sub, 20 goals. But I just thought, now, look, he's one of our own. Let's get him in. He can be back up out on that left-hand side. Maybe play FA Cup, Carabao. Put him on the bench, Champions League, when we can do, 11 subs or 12 subs or whatever it is. So, and it will just help as well with just a little bit of squad padding. Now, our Champions League season has started okay. We had a 1-1 draw against Real Madrid, which I think is fantastic. Then we went to Ukraine, obviously really difficult place you'd imagine to go. Spanked Shakhtar 4-1, Lille 3-2. Went to the new camp and we only lost 1-0, which was a shame as well. Ansu Fati, I imagine it was a deserved win. Yeah, but we did well. We hung on. On another day we might have been able to sneak a draw. Then we've beaten Red Star. We've lost to Napoli at home, which was a little bit disappointing, but Leipzig is a difficult one. Hopefully in the last game we can just pick up 3 points against Fener. That should be enough to get us a playoff place in the Champions League. And then league-wise, we're halfway through the season. We're in and around it. I think Champions League might be a little bit difficult. Man United are back in business. Have they still got Vincenzo Italiano? Yeah, they have. So they've picked up a little bit, which is annoying because that kind of puts them above us, really, done it in terms of budgets and where you'd expect them to finish. So anything around maybe there, I would probably take a 7th and maybe just go Europa League football next season. Right, let's see where we end up. Can we get through to knockout stage Champions League? Let's see where we finish in the league. European football for season 4. One of those two, I'll take Europa. I'll probably even take Conference because that gives us a chance of potentially winning a trophy. To the end of the season. Now, in the end of the season, as you could see, we got a decent draw against Leipzig as well. 2-2, which was good. It did help that Klosterman got sent off, but a point. And then beating Fenerbahce 2-0 meant that we qualified, finishing a really good, respectable 13th in and around teams like Real Madrid, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Paris Saint-Germain. And then we drew Lazio, and I was quite confident that we could beat them. 1-0 away defeat. Didn't do well. We had a little bit of the ball, but we didn't really create anything. I felt like home leg, Ellen Road, under the lights, will be absolutely fine. And they managed to nick it. Once again, we had 12 shots. We didn't quite create enough. They managed to nick one as well really early on. That which made the second leg tie really tricky. Getting knocked out, but qualifying through to the knockout stages, I think, is a really good achievement. Premier League, though, we've finished 5th. And with the coefficient, we've managed to get Champions League football in the final season, in season 5. So back-to-back Champions League finishes, back-to-back 5th place finishes. Got a little bit lucky with the coefficient, but I think that's what's going to happen with the Premier League anyway. Most of the time, I think, with the teams going well in the Europa League and stuff like that, that'll really help the coefficient, and then a big chance of teams getting, 5 teams, into the Champions League. 22 wins, 8 draws, 8 defeats. So that's better than last season. So season 1 in the Prem, 60 points. We then moved it up to 71, and then we moved it up to 74. So we've done extremely well. A draw and a win over Liverpool, which was pretty impressive. Pedro Neto scoring really late on. Beating Manchester City again at the Etihad, which I think is pretty impressive. Disappointing season against Manchester United because we drew 0-0 at home, and then I got absolutely spanked 4-1 at Old Trafford. But we finished higher than them. They've only finished in the 8th position. Tottenham champions. They're absolutely flying in this save. Scamacca up front. Angie's still there. So really impressive. Crystal Palace as well. 9 points deducted from them. Manchester United have not got a manager. Vincenzo Italiano has been sacked. So they've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 managers in 4 seasons. And their deadlock is still pretty shocking. Beto as well did the business for us. 23 goals, not as good as many as last year, but he still contributed. It's just this year we have a little bit of a drop-off. Larson as well, our backup striker's come in and done 11, so that's really good. But then we've got a drop-off. 22 goal contributions from Maximan, but only 8 goals. 18 from Samovic. Lazar, we're going to go with Lazar. 18 from him, but 46 appearances. Central midfield, I suppose. We're maybe just having to rely on that striker maybe a little bit much. I would like more from the wide areas. Stengs has done okay. 7 goals, 10 assists, average rating. The average ratings throughout this save haven't been that great, to be honest. The tactic is actually more solid than what I thought, and it's not overly aggressive in the attacking areas. During the season as well, we did let Adley go, wanting to leave. Well, he didn't really want to leave, but he wasn't playing. We tried to get rid of him in the summer, and we couldn't. We've managed to end up getting him out 14.5. He's gone to Qatar, which is probably, he didn't want to go there, let's be honest. So for season 5, our final season, only 66 million in the bank, which is disappointing. 92,000 in wages. I suppose that's decent. You know, there may be even a player that we can sell on. Is there anyone leaving? Barkley will go. Bazicic that we won't get. And then there's a few players in here that are they, you know, Neto's had a really poor season. We've hardly played him because we got St. Maximum. You know, that is definitely a player that we could look at moving on. He's wanted by Al Nasser as well. That would be nice to come in and get him off the wages and off in terms, and then getting a little bit of money in for him. Beto's still wanted. He's only got a year left on his deal and exploring his options, so that might be something that we definitely need to look at. But I think we only need 3 or 4 players. I think we need to maybe look at strengthening striker, maybe in the wide areas. Defence, once again, is looking good. Dragusin, we've obviously got the other centre-half in Perez. Harry Clark. Fullbacks are pretty much sorted. Kwanzaa is a nice little backup. Goalkeeper's solid, so maybe just a couple of signings, 2 or 3 signings. I probably won't. I'll probably sign a load more because that's what I tend to do. But we don't need much. I think we're just lacking that little bit of quality. Gabby Vega as well. Might see if I can cash in on him because he's done all right. I tell a lie. He hasn't. That ain't great, is it? He has played a lot of games. Mazzala, box to box, Mazzala. So he's been rotating the roles, but you don't expect maybe a little bit more from him. So into season 5, our final season, Ross Barkley has gone out on a free. That's the first one. We've then said goodbye to Calvin Stengs. I just thought he wasn't for me. He had a poor season. He was 29 as well. I was hoping that we could get some maximum seasons out of him, but, you know, 12 goal contributions in the Premier League, for me, wasn't enough. Atalanta were interested and we made a little bit of profit. Gabby Vega has gone as well. We maximised that value that we had. He had a lot of money. He's obviously gone back to Saudi to chase some money. 32 million for a player that we only got for 2 seasons and didn't pay a penny for. I think it's good business. And then on the ins, we've gone big. Ivan Nielsen in his prime. complete forward, absolutely. Beto leaving this boy. Fingers crossed. He's not made a great start. We've not made a great start, by the way, to season 5. But I think he'll definitely come good and potentially then for you guys to use for the next couple of seasons when you carry it on. We did, though, pay a lot of money, 49. I wouldn't say it was a panic. We just were lacking that striker, and we're not quite at that top tier of English football yet in terms. It was basically the best that we could do with what we could afford. We had about 60 mil to spend. That was the deal. That was done. And I thought, look, he's better than Beto. We said we wouldn't sign too many players. And I decided to spend big on Ivan Nielsen. And then we haven't done much, as you can see. Harvey Elliott, I think, is a tremendous signing. I've tried to give us in this season 5 a few more English players in the squad. We definitely were lacking in there, and he was transfer listed. And I think 11.5 would probably be the Mazzala, but can definitely play both outfield roles as well, sorry, out wide roles. But Mazzala in the middle midfield, tremendous signing, 11.5 million. And then I decided to bring a better goalkeeper in, Verbruggen. Brighton, transfer listed, tremendous goalie, 3.6 million for that. I thought was an absolute bargain. And then 2 frees. I don't know why I did this one, to be fair. I think I got it because I really like him. He's Sporting holding midfielder. He's kind of replaced Ugarte when Ugarte went to PSG last summer. He's had a really good season at Sporting in the 23-24 season. He was on a free, and I just thought, look, he can play midfield for us. He can do a register a little bit. He can do box to box, etc. So he's in on a free transfer. And then the other one was English, Jamie Bino Gittens. He's, what is he? Yeah, Dortmund, hasn't played much. He can play both sides of midfield for us. 70 grand in wages. I just thought it was an option for us to have when we try and go through this busy Champions League period. Now, the season has not started very well at all. We are down in 16th. Only 1 win in our opening 6 games. So that is a little bit of a worry. We did start the season against Manchester City, and I thought it's fine. It's Manchester City. Don't worry. We beat Tadcaster 15-0 though in pre-season, which was good. Sheffield United, then at home, 2-0 defeat. That was when I started to panic a little bit, especially when we had 14 shots on goal to their 6 and 3 on target, and they scored from 2 of them. The Man City game as well, we were in it. So after I'd looked at the stats, I thought, right, okay, it's probably just a little bit of a blip. We then had a shocking start, Newcastle away. So we've played Man City away, Newcastle away, the champions Tottenham at home, where to be fair, we didn't deserve anything, well-deserved win for Spurs. We then played Arsenal in the EFL, so that didn't do as well for confidence because I had to rotate the squad to allow some of the other players to play. And then we've had to play Liverpool at Anfield, and we've got beat 3-0. So not a great start. We've then had our first 2 Champions League games, 2 1-0 wins against PAOK and Ajax away, which I thought was pretty impressive. And then we've managed to get going. Ivan Nielsen has finally got on the score sheet, 3-1 against Sunderland. So we're up and running. But look at this phase here. We've now got Chelsea, Man United and Real Madrid. So hopefully after that, you might see us, fingers crossed, picking up throughout the season. Right, we're going to go through now to the end of Season 5, Champions League, and then you guys, you patrons, are going to take on this save. And I would love you to let me know in my Discord, in the comments, how well you do for the next, maybe 5 seasons using Bielsa ball. The Champions League group stage, league phase finished. We finished 10th, which was an improvement on last season. 8 games, 5 wins, beating Benfica, PSV, Valencia, Ajax and PAOK. So really good performances there against teams that you'd maybe expect us to beat. A draw away in Naples, which I thought was impressive. And then defeat against Manchester City and Real Madrid. So I don't think that is too bad. We've kind of done as expected, beaten everyone that we maybe were looking at thinking of beating. But 2-1 away in Valencia, and I said that Ajax result was really good. So into the knockout stages. Luckily for us, we drew Fenerbahce. We drew the first leg 1-1 in Istanbul, but then we absolutely smashed Fener 3-0 in the second leg to give us a last 16 tie against AC Milan. And unfortunately, but the damage was kind of done in the home leg, the first leg. Didn't do too bad, actually, in terms of XG. It was pretty even, but they managed to nick a 2-1 win. And then in the second leg, we just didn't have enough. Milan probably too strong for us. So an improvement. Knockout stages, Champions League, to the last 16. The Premier League, though, we have finished 8th, which is a disappointment. I think we've reached the point, that terrible start to the season, remember. We've just reached the point now, look. Fulham, by the way, apart from Fulham, who have had a tremendous season, finishing 3rd. Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, the big boys are all back in charge. That's made it a little bit difficult. And we've had a disappointing season. We've lost 16, only scored 49 goals, which was a huge disappointment. We did obviously pick up a terrible start, and then it's just been like in here we had a couple of good wins, beating Arsenal in the Prem, managed to beat Manchester City again if we look at the opposition, beating Man United again, losing at Man United, beating Man City. We've just had an indifferent season, not scoring enough goals. Even Nielsen, how many did he get? He got 15, which ain't enough, is it? It ain't enough. So something for you guys to take on. 84 million in the bank. It's also, I think, as well, I think it's a little bit, we've had the seasons in the Champions League where we're not quite ready for that in terms of squad, in terms of going on and winning it. Now we're in the Conference League, so that should be a competition. I would expect, if I did another season, I'd expect to go out and try and win that. Team-wise, there's a little bit of work to be done. I think, especially in the midfield, like we're relying on like a 32-year-old Saint-Maximin. So his contract's out, so you probably won't renew that. Who else has got a contract out? Neto, Bellegarde, Beto, Maximan, Giabi's still there. So those are all players that you can move on. Maybe sell on players like Dan James, who stayed with us for the duration. Been a decent servant. Has a nice few little appearances there. A few goals, few assists each season. But I think, defence is fine. It's that front four. I think you've got a little bit with Elliott. We've also played Samadavic. Oh, God, sorry, Lazar. We've played him out of position a little bit, but we've kind of gone with Harvey Elliott in the midfield. So you might want to cash in on him and then have money to really go for maybe three really aggressive wingers. And then, even Nielsen, he probably needs replacing because he hadn't had a great season as a 6.83 average, 15 goals in 46 appearances is not good enough. I thought we were on for something there when we picked him up in the summer. All right, guys, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I said the Bielsa Ball tactic is available for you Patreon, so make sure you go check it out. Everyone else, right now, I'm going to very quickly go through the team and show you all the player instructions. So if you don't want to be a Patreon, you can copy it in yourself. So the goalkeeper, sweeper, keeper, and attack, no player instructions. Complete wing back, no player instructions. No player instructions. No player instructions in the defence, in the midfield. Right winger, inverted winger on attack, roam from position. The Mazzala, nothing. The box-to-box, nothing. The inverted winger on the other side, roam from position. And then this complete forward, tackle harder and shoot more often. Those are all your team instructions. And remember to give it that Bielsa ball feel. Opposition instructions, go to positions. You tag all of that from the fullback down. Don't do the goalkeeper. And then the other change you need to do as well is your opposition instructions. I just tick that one, which just, look, and as you can see, it ticks in, look, and it tells you what you're going to do. So to have those ones ticked if you want to go full Bielsa ball in Football Manager 2024. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed it. I am going to be doing a new one with Everton very, very soon, and we're going to make Everton beautiful. It's going to be total football, Pep Guardiola kind of style, getting rid of all that Sean Dyche-ness in the squad, all them big lads who can run and kick and tackle. We're getting rid of that, and we're going to change Everton from day one, playing beautiful football for the next 5 seasons. Hope you'll stay around for it. Thank you very much for watching. Smash a like, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.